So this was a fun little trip I did a few months ago, and I drove my Outlander 2015 hybrid, plug-in hybrid, up to Korowai Torlesse Park. And so it happened when I was having a coffee on one of my days off, and I felt like going to the mountains. And so I decided to do so, and that's the best thing about living in New Zealand, in Christchurch, because the mountains are so accessible. And I'd been driving this car for a year, and I wanted to just try out, just take it somewhere, and go for a spin. And so I took the West Coast Alpine Highway, and always an amazing drive there. I stopped at Springfield to fuel up. As soon as you go beyond Springfield, you start hitting the mountains, and this is when I would switch from electric mode to petrol mode to gas mode, which is called charge in our car. And so beyond Springfield, you start climbing the mountains, and as you start climbing, you start to see the white snow. The mountains start appearing before you. They start opening up before you, and it's probably one of my favorite drives. I do this probably the most regularly, and just to see it, especially in winter, glimmering in the sun, it always does good for your soul. And I think it's the best way for me that I can think of to clear your mind, just to get away, just to have a retreat from the city and from regular life. And up here too, there's no phone network, so you just feel even more detached from reality. This is where you turn off from the main road into the gravel roads. I think the sign that day was saying that the roads are closed up ahead, but I still decided to go anyway. It must have been because of the winter season thing. It was quite a muddy day. That day must be snow starting to melt, but I decided to keep going anyway because I had driven up this far and I didn't want to just drive back because the road sign says it was closed. And so I stopped there on the lakeside. Decided to get changed, assess the road ahead, get a lay of the land, but also just to enjoy this view right here. And this is a good spot as well for a lot of hikes that you can do, a lot of walks you can do around here. In winter, this lake is completely frozen over, so again, another interesting thing to explore. So I took a moment here, got changed into my hiking gear, into my hiking shoes. And so off I went. If you notice, I'm driving pretty slowly, and this really is not the road that you want to flex your speed on. You don't want to go too fast. It's quite the gravel is quite loose too. You don't want to end up in the lake. You really don't want to, especially in this winter. And then I branched off even the gravel road. I branched off into this off-road, off-track thing. I tried to see how far I could go, but this is the spot where my car was scraping against the ground, and I really did not want to wreck my car up in the middle of nowhere up here. So I just backed off and decided not to even try, which is probably a smart decision, 100%. And so I backed my car up again, jumped out of my car. I was kind of freaking out, but there was nothing went wrong. It was just a small scrape, just a bit of mud on the front, but I breathed a sigh of relief, and I decided to try out other roads that are a bit easier and simpler. And there were so many other roads to explore anyway, and there's no lack of roads like these, especially surrounded by the mountains and lakes on the side of it. And just gravel, just enough to give you a sense of like you're driving somewhere off-road, but it's not crazy off-road. So there's so many roads like this that you can explore, and this was definitely a good idea coming up there on that day. So much open space and so much land, and so isolated. It's just you and your car and yourself in the mountain air. once again, more mountains around you. The Southern Alps is the mountain range that covers the entire length of the South Island of New Zealand, and it is one of the best places in the country, hands down, even one of the best places in the world for this kind of adventure. People come here spending thousands and thousands of dollars to come here and have a drive and explore this place, and sometimes I feel very lucky to live just an hour away from all of this, and I could just go there for, you know, just for a tank of petrol. Money wise, that's all I would be spending. So it's definitely a very luxurious thing that we have here, and I try and make the most of it whenever I can. And so I went off looking for other roads again, exploring other back roads. This was one of the good ones. I did not try too many intense roads. I didn't want to destroy anything in my car once again, but it was fun to just explore and see how far out my car would go. And then I came to a place where I decided I could not go any further, and the rocks in front and the steepness of the roads going into the valley was a bit too far for me. I think I definitely did not want to get stuck down there. And like, there's no network up here, there's no phone network, so God knows what would happen if you get stuck up here. Also very cold, very inconvenient. So I decided to stop here and you know, maybe park up here and have a snack. Let's look at that view. Amazing. Yep. This was a nice spot. Even though I couldn't go any further than this in terms of driving, I decided to make the most of it and stop here for a snack, have a banana, have a few drinks, and, you know, have a snack and enjoy the view. The best thing about trips like this is it just clears your mind. You're up in the middle of nowhere. You're not contactable by anyone, by phone anyway, and so you're just up here with the time to yourself to just think and just relax and just chill out. Especially if you love the outdoors, especially if you love the sense of being out in the open. There's nothing like being up here. Some people enjoy the ocean, some people enjoy the city life, and I do love them too, but I think for me, mountains would be my thing. One of the things that drew me to New Zealand originally when I moved here in 2008 was definitely the mountains. Check out that view. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been really fun, and I can't wait to do more of this. I can't wait to explore what else I can do with my car, and one day when I upgrade to more sturdy tires and lift, there'll be more places I can go. But even so, with a standard stock fit like this, you don't need fancy stuff. You really don't need fancy stuff. You can still see the back roads, the areas of New Zealand that you don't see from the highways. This is what having SUV is about. This is having all-wheel drive is for. So if you notice, I'm driving pretty slowly and I'm being very careful, because, you know, the last thing you would want to do is to slip into the lake. Like, that would be very funny. That would be also very terrible. That would literally be the last thing you want to be doing up here, especially on a cold day like this, in the cold season. 30k, 40k per hour is probably just good, and that way you can enjoy the view too. You can go slowly, as long as you're not holding up traffic behind you, but you can just like take your time and just look at the world around you. So there are many lakes like this up in the mountains all across the Southern Alps, and you can spend days and days, even months and years exploring all of them. I definitely have not seen even 1% of it. There are a few ones that I go to on a regular basis, and even that's good enough. You definitely have to watch out for the wind though. They're cold and they're pretty strong, and you know, they dry your skin. You got to make sure you're moisturized as well and got sunscreen on. But here's the view of the lake. The water so blue and so clear, crystal clear, and very, very cold. I mean, I would like to try jumping into that water, you know, practice some cold water therapy, but not today. But look at how clear that is. Just straight mountain water. This lake freezes over in winter as well, so you may come up here and do some ice skating. Backing up more footage from my phone to the computer. Spend some time relaxing, thinking, clearing my mind, watching the mountains, watching the water, just having a moment. Just 80 kilometers away from Christchurch, from home, from my apartment. I don't know. What else can you say? Pretty good. It's 3 p.m. It doesn't take much. Just takes a couple of hours of driving on the back roads to make you feel like you've done something amazing. I'm grateful. One thing I do need to maybe invest into is some sort of a cooker so that I can make coffee up here. How good would it be with the view of the lake, the back of the car open with the view of the lake, and just making a coffee. I would spend $10 for a coffee right now, but so that's probably the next thing I would invest into. I'm gonna make my way back to Christchurch. It's gonna be a good drive as well. I'll see if I have time to stop by Springfield for a quick coffee, but there's a chance that all the cafes might be closed early. So yeah, it's funny. I mean, cars like that, people in New Zealand, people love going outdoors. I guess that's why they come to New Zealand, and it's cool to see when they take small cars and try and make it work. Obviously, it's not good if it's risky, but I see some people trying even the back roads with smaller cars. I saw a car that looked like Wagoner drive down that street earlier that I was in. I don't think it got very far, to be honest, with wheels like that, but still, then I'm glad they're trying, and just don't get stuck out in the cold, especially in seasons like this, because that'll be big trouble for you. Okay, I'm gonna head out into the highways now, so I'm gonna switch off just for safety and focus on driving. Maybe I might film something in Springfield, but yeah, it's been good.